Hey everyone, welcome back to Borough Country. I'm Peter, and in this episode we're just doing a quick review on some mountain bike shoes that I bought, and also the flat pedals with the pins in them to make things work a little bit better. So let's go to the intro and I'll see you shortly. Hi, so welcome. As I said, this is an episode that is just about some shoes and about where I've stepped up a bit on my riding. So first thing is that I just want to tell you, if you see my face is all blotchy, I'm just extreme close up here. It is lesson for young players. This is all being treated at the moment with a chemotherapy, which is now a fairly common thing, thank goodness, to be able to treat skin lesions. So these are all potential skin cancers all blotching all over me. And so all things that I did to myself when I was young, not looking after my skin. And back when I was a little tiny tacker, and the doctors used to say, it's good to go out and get a good sunburn every now and then. It's great. Peels the skin off, does all that sort of stuff. This is what happened. So please look after your skin when you're out. And because of this treatment, I can't go out riding at the moment. I've got to stay out of the sun as much as possible and the wind. This is actually very sore. So another couple of weeks of treatment before it'll probably get clear up. So while I'm out, or while I'm stuck from being out, I'm stuck here in the Borough Country studio. Now I'm on my bike inside, so I can still do some riding on my indoor bike. So I've got a Merida here set up on an indoor trainer, so I can keep riding when the weather's bad and also when things like this happen. So when I first bought my Dyson bike, and I got that professionally set up, and one of the suggestions at the time was, look, once you get yourself a bit fitter, you've worked up, you're in the rhythm with that bike and everything's working right and it's all set up right, you really should go and get some shoes, some clipless shoes. Oddly, clipless shoes have clips on them. So if you don't know the history of that, it's back from the old days, or when I say the old days, probably 20, 30 years ago, when bike shoes you had a clip on the front of your pedal and your shoe went into it like that to hold it for road riding. Now we have what they call clipless, where in fact it's got a clip on the pedal and your shoe actually locks down into a fixed place on that. Now, the thing about clipped shoes is that when your foot's in, you do have to turn them a particular direction. You usually turn them outwards to unlock them. Now, I was a bit worried about that, being an older guy and not being used to using them. I was kind of worried, here's my feet are locked to the pedals. Am I going to forget, especially when you're going through gates at trails and things like that? And I do know a couple of people who've come off because they've actually forgotten to unclip their shoes and going through things like that. And if you're riding on the road, it happens when you've got to stop suddenly and you're focused on stopping rather than unclipping your feet. Now, people who've been using clipless shoes for a really long time say it's no bother whatsoever for them because it's just a reflex action for them now. So over time you learn that. But I was a bit worried about starting out on that, even though I've been assured that it's fine. Now, the reason why you clip your feet to the pedals, a couple of reasons, is that one is that you always have a fixed position where you're riding from, so the optimum position for your feet, and also if they're set up properly, which they should be done, you should be getting them professionally set up, so certainly the first one, so you know where the angles of your feet, because your feet can be toed in, toed out. You want to make sure that your feet are clipped on, and once they're in their optimum position, it means that one, you're always in the best position for your feet, and two, when you're on the downward stroke, which you're always using energy on and creating energy as you're pushing down on it, you're actually also able to pull up on the pedal as well, whereas when your foot's not attached to the pedal, you don't have that pull up as much. So you'll lose a little bit of energy by not being able to do that if you don't have your feet attached to the pedals. However, I did a bit of research because I didn't know a lot about this. I'm riding trails. Do I really need to have my feet clipped on? I was really keen to get into some more, I've been riding longer and longer trails in a single day, and I wanted to make sure I was doing the best that I could. And also it improves your fitness somewhat, using your feet like that. So I had a look. Now mountain bikes are a little bit different. There's plenty of mountain bike riders who do downhill courses who use clipless shoes as well, so their feet are attached to the bike. They really like that. There's professionals that do that, but there's also the other option, and that option is what they call flat pedals. And a flat pedal looks like this. So just look out the Borough Country window here, and the magic of television. So that's a flat pedal, and a flat pedal is basically, for mountain bike riding particularly, is a flat pedal that has pins in it, and you can see the pins that are in the side of that are, you can screw those through so you can have them longer on one side, shorter on the other if you want, using an Allen key, and those pins that are sticking up grip onto the bottom of your shoe. And a composite material, it's their level 1 pedal. It's what they would call an introductory mountain bike pedal. It's a composite material with the metal screw throughs for the pins. For what I'm doing, they're perfectly fine, and they come in lots of colors. So I got blue ones on my bike, so just because I like that, again, it's just brightness, I like that. However, you can get up further up the line. They have models that go right from that composite, which is basically probably a resin type material, through to, or a composite carbon fiber sort of thing, to, they go to titanium pedals, and then they go right up to where every part of that pedal is made out of incredibly strong stuff for professional level mountain bike riders. So that if you're riding down hills, and I mean mountain bikes where you're going over jumps and everything, and you're going to land full weight onto those pedals, they're made, and they cost you a bomb, those things. They cost a lot. They cost probably as much as this Merida bike in front of me, brand new. So don't know why I've got tape sitting on there, but throw that. Oops, throwing things around the studio. So those pedals, again, they cost about $100 for a pair of those pedals in Australia at the moment. So you can get them shipped, and it costs you about $99 or $95 for a pair of pedals. Flat pedal shoes, and flat pedal shoes are like this. So they don't have clips in the bottom of them. These shoes are made, so these are a Leatt, and I bought these on special. A couple of little things about shoes, and I learnt this after I'd bought these. Leatt shoes, when you're looking at the sizing, if you're buying them online, just be a little bit careful. This is a 9.5. I wear 9.5 shoes in Nikes and all those other things, and I've been buying shoes online for years now. I've hardly been in a shoe store for a long time, and I can consistently buy the same size shoe. It's a 9.5 US size, and get the same shoe. These are big. These are big. And I mean, when I say big, they're probably a half size too big than what they should be. Now, I got them on special. I did pay for these. It's not sponsored. They were $239 down to $99. So that's why I bought them. So this is the Leatt shoe. Now, the thing about these shoes, what's different, and I was also sort of, someone who's trying to learn how these things work, going, what's the advantage of this? These things are rigid. You cannot bend this shoe. And the purpose of that is so that when you're putting your foot down, every movement of your foot, there's no flex around the pedal. You're pushing down and getting full push on the pedal. So that's one great advantage of these shoes. The other thing is the soles of these are made with these very soft soles. They've got very grippy holes in them everywhere. And that's so that those pins that are in the pedals up here actually will lock into the soles of your shoes. So they lock in. Now, I thought, well, is that better than a clipless shoe? Is it not? So there's a lot of arguments about, well, what's better and what's not. I've actually seen some videos by some professional riders and some people doing some professional testing between the two on road bikes. So riding with the clipped-on shoes, or the clipless shoes on, and then doing this. Now, the only thing they found, oddly enough, they actually got better speed sometimes with these shoes than they got with the others. They did find that they lost a little bit of the energy that they created during a ride, and so felt that maybe on long rides and even over 100 kilometers, the difference between the two really wasn't that much. But look, it's what you're used to, and it's what you're happy with. And personally, I think if I'd started off on the clipless shoes, once you got the hang of it, you wouldn't want to change. Why would you want to change? It works for you. That's what goes. I wanted something I could take my foot off the pedal. On my last video, and I'll put the link at the end, that was the episode 4 of the Great Victorian Rail Trail down to Alexandra. I used those pedals and these shoes for the first time. Now, they are too big. They're about half size too big. One of the things about shoe sizes is that I learnt years ago was that the difference between a shoe from one size to the half size is often the thickness of the inner sole. Not always, but a lot of the time. So I did put a thick inner sole in these, and that's not too bad. I couldn't send them back because they were on special and the next size down wasn't available. So I thought, well, they do fit. They're just not as firm a fit as I would really like. Now, just a great thing about these shoes, this is the Leatt 3, so it was their latest version of this. This one is the Pro version. Now, the difference between the Pro and that I can tell is that they're exactly the same shoe, but they have the wind-up lace holder, so there's no laces to come loose and go around your pedal or anything, and you just wind those up and tend to unclip, and you just pull that up, and it just releases it with a Velcro latch. The other model in them, they're still the same sort of shoe, they just have a lace up. So that seemed to be the only difference that was there. So I kind of like the colours of these. I like colours, so that's what I bought. So look, first impressions, as someone who'd never used this before, not used clipless shoes, not used mountain bike shoes, not used anything. So first one is, I like the fact that my foot was never locked to the pedal. Having said that, once you put your weight on these and those pins grip into there, let me tell you, it's like glue under your feet. It's actually amazing. And it took me a little bit at first to find the spot, and I'm sure it'll take me a little bit to continuing trying these to get them better. But once you get into the rhythm of where you put your feet on those pedals, they grip. And the other interesting thing is that you can actually feel that grip on the full rotation. So they're holding on. So even as you're pushing down, yes, if you lift your foot up really firmly, your foot's going to come off. But I could actually feel much better grip all the way around. And one of the things I did find on my bike was that my feet slipped around a bit on the pedals. And that was one of the reasons why I was looking at this. And I found that a bit unnerving on a couple of occasions where my foot did slip across the pedal with my sand shoes and the pedals that came with the bike, which weren't too bad. But these, I heard someone else say, wow, why didn't someone tell me about this before? And I'm going to say the same thing. Really great. That's my feedback on this. I did the first ride, which was 14 kilometers, and I can tell you after 14 Ks on it, I was absolutely convinced this is the best thing since sliced bread as far as that goes. My feet are not locked to the pedals. I didn't have that worry that was in my head that, oh, what if I've got to stop suddenly? If you lift your foot off like you normally would, your foot comes off. It might take a little bit more force, but it just comes off. It's not locked in. You don't have to remember to turn your feet or anything like that. So for me, this was great. Now, if you're into clipless shoes, fabulous. What works for you works for you. So, but I actually thought this was a really great alternative. For the cost of it, it's cost me about half because I was able to buy them online and buy, things that were on special. I didn't have to get them fitted up professionally. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes over time. I'm going to be doing a couple more of these little videos. I've got another one. We're doing some fit outs on the ute to make life easier while we're traveling all around all these trails. And so for the next couple of weeks, I'm out of action. So my apologies. No videos out on trails for a few weeks while this is here. You can't be out in the sun. I can't be out in the wind. It hurts a lot at the moment. So none of that. So I will be sitting on the bike inside the Borough studio, and I will be doing as many kilometers as I can while I'm stuck indoors. So see you next time in Borough Country. Thanks for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe if you do. And if you want to see that ride from Alexandra, here is the link to it. See you next time.